So to answer this question, let's look at the next few slides. Well, birds, they are reptile. Believe it or not, birds they belong to the same species as they belong to the same group as snake, crocodile, and dinosaurs. As a matter of fact, birds is actually the walking fossil, walking dinosaur. Yeah, you can call it. They are the modern dinosaur. So feather, they produce lift, smooth air flow, and help steering and balance. But believe it or not, feather is actually developed from scales in reptile. So, well, we can look at the fossil Archaeopteryx. We look at this last week. So it is a reptile with claws, and the head of it also looks like a reptile. It has reptile-like claws. It also has teeth like a reptile, but it has feather. Yes, feather. And the tail also is a long tail like a reptile, but you have feather along the tail of the feather. Also, you have feather on the forelimb, on the limbs. So it's like a hybrid of birds and reptile. So scientists found that there are lots of fossils with feathered dinosaurs. And the feather in the dinosaurs, they are not for flying at that time. The feather on the dinosaurs, they are for insulation, to keep their body warm. But eventually, the property of the development of feather provide the advantage of being able to fly. The advantage of being able to fly is good because they can allow the dinosaurs to escape their predator, and also it enhances their ability to find more prey for food. So therefore, natural selection will gradually remodel feather and wings to fit their additional function. And we call this acceptation, not adaptation. We call it acceptation, not adaptation. Meaning that the development of feather originally is for insulation, for keeping the body warm, but eventually it serves as another function, as for the animal to fly. Then we call it acceptation. Acceptation. Of course, the evolution, the modification is a gradual, step-by-step process. It is not a sudden change. It takes a long time. Another example of this gradual changes is the development of the eyes. The development of eyes originally is just a group of photoreceptor cells, and then through evolution, then it can develop into a very sophisticated eyes. An example is the squid eyes. Squid's eyes are famous for having a very, very similar structure as human eyes. They develop such a sophisticated eye structure because they live in a deep ocean. In the deep ocean, there's not much light, so they have to develop a very advanced visual system. And coincidentally, the structure of the squid eye is highly resembled to human eyes. One of the major differences is that the optic nerve in squid is a lot thicker than human being. The reason is that in the deep sea ocean, there is not much light or there's not much photon in there. So if you have 1 or 2 photons hitting the retina, then the bigger or thicker optic nerve should be able to detect or transmit or amplify the 1 or 2 photon there. In other words, if you take a squid out of the ocean, then they will see everything is too bright, they will be blinded by the strong sunlight. So in order to classify the life, we use the taxonomy. We talked about taxonomy last time. Is a review here. Is to name the species and to classify the species. And systematics includes taxonomy, and we use systematics to classify organisms and also to determine their relationships. We use phylogenetic trees. Phylogenetic tree is similar to what we mentioned previously, the tree of life. We use phylogenetic tree to form the evolutionary hypothesis for the species, and also we group the species into a hierarchy. How do we do this classification? We use homologous structure that we mentioned previously and also again this time. Homologous structure, they may be different in forms or function, but they have a very similar structure. They have a very similar structure because they have a same common ancestor. So if the two species, they have the similar, if they have the homologous structure, then it will be a very strong evidence that they have the same ancestor, they belong to the same phylogenetic tree. So this is another thing that you need to pay attention to. Convergent evolution. Convergent evolution occurred with analogous structure. We mentioned analogous structure before. Analogous structure, we give you an example, is the wing of the birds and the wing of the insects. They have different structure and they have different ancestor, but they develop the same function for flying. So we call it analogous structure or analogy, and it is due to the convergent evolution, meaning that two different species, then two different structure, but they develop into the same function. On the other hand, the homologous structure, meaning that originally they have the same ancestor, the same structure here, but they diverge into different function, different form and function. Remember the forelimbs of the mammal, we look different. Our forelimbs look very different from the forelimbs of a whale, forelimbs of the bat. So we call this divergent evolution. So analogous structure is convergent evolution. Homologous structure is divergent evolution. So now we have two questions here. One question is, what is an example of analogous structure? And then we also talked about homologous structure last week. What was the example? Well, these two questions are pretty simple. I'll answer this question in the next video. You can think about this too.